this is Hanifa. I come from Singapore. 精通双语的演说家，本地土生土长，大家哇族同胞。I am proficiently bilingual in 2 languages as a speaker. Actually, I speak more than 4 languages, but these are the 2 languages, English and Mandarin, that I normally speak on public stages. How does it work? How does a person in my of my type, okay, who is so interested in Mandarin and interested in learning 2nd and 3rd languages, able to do that in a short period of time? So today is about learning yourself. Today is about learning to keep yourself ingrained and immersed in this language. So I'm going to show you, and it's a very easy tip for you to share, and you can use it at any time of the day, right? Are we ready? Now, if you like this kind of subjects, now click on the link below, join me in my program, and I will be able to come and I'll be able to serve you better. So right now, what are we going to talk about is that everyone in this, when we're born, the only one language that we learn is our mother tongue, right? It doesn't matter where you're born in, whether you're born in Spain, you were born in Taiwan, or you're born in America. But if your mother tongue is the place where your parents or caregiver is taking care of you and they use that language to raise you, then that will be your mother tongue. So you will see some parents who adopt children from very young at babies, and the babies learn only that language that the parents speak to them. So that will be their mother tongue. So only one language will be learned during that period, during that time, from the time when they are 0 to about maybe 2 years old. Now, in that process, if the parents can't speak other languages, then the children will start to pick other sounds, and that's how language become a very important environment become very important for the children. Now, if you're thinking about learning a 2nd language or a 3rd language because you don't have that background, and therefore you have this interest to learn a 2nd or 3rd language, then what you need to do is to understand that it does not happen over time. I mean, it doesn't happen straight away for you, but you need to understand how you're going to create the environment for you to get that knowledge, to get that influence, and especially to get that push to continue on. Because language, if you start from a very young age, it helps you to push along, and within an environment, you're immersed in that environment. But if you're starting out as an adult and you're going to immerse yourself, then you need one more thing, that is motivation. And motivation can only come if you exactly know where you're going towards. That means you want to be fluent or what you're going to use it for. So learn these things, is that learning from where you want to come from, learn to know that you need to be motivated, and therefore you need to know where you're going towards. Is going to help, how it's going to help you. How does this language help you? So firstly is maybe it's going to help you in your career, help you in influencing others within your family members to help them grow themselves, because by seeing you working hard, they can also be motivated to work hard for in their own field. And thirdly is probably for your own self, that you feel more encouraged and more motivated and more in other words, probably more clear of what you want to do next with this language. So perhaps right now you're not clear what the language can do for you, but this is my advice to everyone who wants to persist in learning in one language, or persist in pursuing learning a language, is to actually acquire that knowledge of why you do what you do. Now, I've been doing this for the last in my lifetime. Okay, I've not stopped working on myself, and every time I improve, I find that there's always a reason for me to keep on going. Number one is that the language itself is such a big area where we can explore ourselves and bring ourselves out there and get to know other people. And through language, I can share a lot of my stories. And number two, you will be able to see that with language, yes, you improve, your quality of life improve, your communication skills improve, you also improve and understand more of what you're lacking, and therefore you're going to work on yourself. Number three, and is very important, is that you actually become happier, because language allows you to also understand which are the forms, or which are the ways that you prefer to be speaking to yourself in, so that makes you more happy, right? Nobody wants to be sad. So if you want to be happy, you have to choose the right languages for yourself. So it is so enjoyable, and I'd love you to actually consider learning a second or third language in order for you to discover what kind of languages actually makes you happy. So for me, I speak a lot of Mandarin. I speak Mandarin on a consistent basis, and if I don't have the environment right now in the house to help me speak that language, I will pick up the phone and talk to a friend. I will find a club, a group of people that speak only that language, and I work in that environment. And thirdly, is very importantly, is that continue to practice. I also, in this way, it helps me to grow myself. So the only 4 things that you need to learn when you learn languages is to listen, speak, write, and also to watch. Okay, listen, speak, and write. So listen and speak. So if you think you're a baby, if you think yourself as a baby at the time when they don't know how to read or write or anything else, they learn how to watch first. Okay, watch and then listen and then continue. So there is a cycle that you can work with. So today, today the topic is about how to use that first language in order for you to be able to start thinking in second language, correct? So how can you use that method and then without translation move on? Well, maybe you'll be asking me, because I have already had some background of Mandarin and therefore it sticks with me for, I'll be very frank with you, is that when we were kids, we're learning, we don't even know there is a concept behind a language, okay? We are told that there is a concept. So we cannot conceptualize it ourselves because we are always using it. So in other words, then in order for us to understand or actually implement that knowledge, or we see the value in the language, is to keep using it, to start using it. It doesn't matter whether you understand the grammar or you understand how it works. It's a tool. So use the tool and figure out as you go along, and that's how kids learn, right? They try to figure out, oh, this is a ball, so I'm going to figure out how to kick the ball. So if you have a ball in your hand and you do not know what to do with it, guess what? You will be asking others. You're going to watch others how they use the ball and kick the ball, and maybe from there you get motivated to do it. So same thing with us when we're learning as an adult, is that when the ball is in your hand, you have this language. Don't try to figure out how it works. Just say it. Just say a few words and get started. Now, one of the examples that I can give you is someone who's very young. Okay, he's very young, maybe 11 years old, and he's been working so hard in all his life. What he did, working hard as what? He works as a travel agent, right? And I say an agent because he goes out there and sells stuff for his parents because they were very poor. And when he starts selling stuff for his parents, he meet a lot of tourists. In the process, when he met a lot of tourists, he started to pick up a lot of languages. And because he wanted to earn money for his family, that he wanted it so much that he began to pick up languages because he needs to make money. So, and he grew to learn 11 languages. So 11 languages, okay? So right now this student is now studying, okay? He's been taken in as a student in a school, and now he's studying. So you really do not know what you're going to in for until you get started. So I also have some people asking me this question, Hanifa, if you are so you're afraid to speak, or because you are making lots of mistakes, now how are you going to continue, because you know that it's not going to help? Well, here, okay, there one thing that you need to remember: people learn differently. Either they are a visual learner, they are auditory, or they may be kinesthetic, someone who loves to be touch and feel the language. So in this case, then you need to understand where you're coming from. So how to know whether you're an auditory person? Okay, look at my lips, and if you can follow my lips without listening to my voice, then I guess you're a visual person, right? Now, a way to remember that is that turn yourself away from the video and listen to what I say and repeat what I say. So I say this word, 导致 and I say this was 导致. So are you able to do better by looking at me or do better by listening to me? So if you're able to do it within 1 or 2 seconds, then you know you are able to do it quickly, right? Some people say, oh, I didn't hear what she says. I didn't hear it. I didn't quite catch it, right? I didn't quite catch it. So you notice the ears go this way, right? So it means that they are quite auditory, right? But they say, oh, what did she say? What did she say? I cannot hear. So you are using visual and auditory, right? So what are you going to engage in is very important. How are you going to engage yourself into learning? That is where you're going to look at. And next thing is kinesthetic, tactile. Okay, tactile person is a little slower, but they are the best person to teach. Why? Because a tactile person take action. They need to feel the language. They need to see the things that's happening. Okay, so they need to see the language works. So the tactile people are really very easy to teach. Okay, don't think that you're a tactile person, therefore say, oh no, I can't listen, I'm not a visual person, so what do? I have no environment. Oh, you are the best person to work with. Why? Because you want to get started straight away. You want to see it happening as it happens. See it happening as you learn, right? So if you're a tactile person, congratulations. Your learning speed will be much faster. Okay, you're visual like a little kid kicking the ball. You feel the ball. You know exactly what you want to do. That is, you want to play with the ball. So don't worry about whether you're slow or fast. Just remember that what type of learner are you going to be. Now, another question that came to me was, so if you are already, you're not fluent, but then you're so used to these sit-down teacher-student relationship, right? And that's how you've been learning. How are you going to change your mindset? How are you going to change the way you approach learning? Very interesting. Yes, we all are so sure. So, within a second, if I tell you, listen to me, or you probably will stop and just keep quiet, right? Because we're so used as when we were a kid in school, that's how we've been taught to listen to the teacher. Now, what if there's a way for you to now change that method in the way you think, okay? Then you need to know this. Then you should come to my class, because I have designed a course for you to know exactly how it works. Now I'm going to give you some tip right here. Okay, imagine that in this session right here, every one of us can only speak one language, and then one of us decided to speak a second language, and that second language is something everyone else has in mind but never took action, but that one person took action, right? So what happens to that person? So he will get started. Now, no matter how good you are in your first language, and if you had not taken action, that person who took the action will now improve and be ahead of you, correct? And then you get started, and then you start to see some better methods than that person, and you get better. But guess what? The person who started first has already been ahead of you, and what he has is probably aspiration, motivation, and most importantly, energy. Because in language, when we are learning a language, it gives you life. Once you take action, it takes life. But someone who is considering doing it before will start to worry, or maybe consider some of the methods that they want to approach this language. So strategy doesn't work in language. In language, it's not about taking the strategy of how to speak. There is no strategy, but you need to take action. The only strategy you have is to live it. Live in the language. And once you immerse and live in the language, guess what? You are speaking the language.